Start. Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us today's webinar.
All right.
Conducted by ISACA Sri Lankan chapter. Before starting the program, I want to remind you that when you're registering, please make sure you enter your name, email address, and your membership number correctly. Then it's easy for us to upload CPE points. You will be awarded 1 CPE point for this webinar. If you have any questions to be asked from the speaker, please type in the QA window so we could ask him at the end of the session. Today's topic is COBIT 2019 for IT audit. The speaker here with us today is Arman Oramalov. He's the founder of ISACA Astana chapter in Kazakhstan. He's also an information technology auditor at Bayterik National Managing Holding. Over to you, Mr. Arman.
Thank you. So I would like to share my experience of using COBIT in IT audit. So this is our agenda. I will say a couple of words about our chapter. It's quite new, small chapter. Kazakhstan is in Central Asia. I hope you know Kazakhstan. So then I will say a couple of words about, in general, what ISACA can offer for internal auditors, and then about IT Audit Universe, and then how to adapt COBIT 2019 for the use of IT audit. Originally, COBIT, of course, it was developed for IT auditors because it was consist of controls for testing. But now COBIT 2019 is much more than that, and it's more for IT and cybersecurity team to develop their framework set of processes. It's less for IT audit. There is no special publication of like for COBIT 5 we had special publication instruction for IT auditors. While for 2019, there is no such instruction methodology, so we should be adapting it. That's why I have been looking at several publications, several notes on ISACA website, what other people are saying, and then also, so this webinar would be my own practical experience. So I will say about terminology, then I will say about goals cascade, so COBIT tools, how to use it during the planning, and then examples of control selection for the test, for the audit, and then presenting the result of the audit, how we can present it. So about 10 years or 9 years ago, we in Kazakhstan, several people come together and decided to establish chapter. So mostly these people was from big four companies like Deloitte or KPMG or Ernst Young. So since that time, we are doing this kind of webinars and forums for local, mostly for local community for Kazakhstan. This would be my first webinar for outside of Kazakhstan, which is also good, great. So we will be connecting each other, and hopefully in future we will continue this kind of collaboration, this kind of joint educational events. That's great. So ISACA has lots of tools for auditors. First of all, it's certification. I'm holder of CISA certification, Certified Information Systems Auditor. Then there are new certifications on specific topics like cloud, cybersecurity, and so on. Yeah, of course, for COBIT itself, there is a certificate with the exam. I apologize. Then there is the IT audit framework. I'm really sorry. I will stop this call because I didn't turn off. One second. Apologize for that interruption. So there is a IT audit framework, IT audit programs. I'm using these IT audit programs published on ISACA website. I have been using it for a long time ago, even from COBIT 4.1, mostly for those publications. Then they were updated for COBIT 5, and with usage of COBIT 2019, currently there is also some audit programs. So you take it, adapt for your audit, and then use it. So there are a lot of tools, and as well as there is interactive career pathway, but I think that's mainly for beginner, in order to guide through what are the key requirements for which kind of jobs in audit and cybersecurity area. Below you can see some examples of audit programs. So we will be focusing on COBIT. So it has holistic approach. It can bring together all other standards. There is a mapping. That's also great because, for example, when I come to some audit and so some companies, subsidiary companies, I'm working in the holding big company who has many subsidiary companies, and they are saying we don't know COBIT, we are not using it. We are using, for example, ISO standard 20001 or critical security controls. But I say that's fine. So I have some control objectives from COBIT, and then there is a mapping. So whatever they have, ITIL for IT, through that mapping, I can look at their processes, how they designed using those other methodologies and frameworks, standards. I still can do that my audit because there is a mapping. So some key concepts. During the preparation to the audit, we can use this terminology. So I'm not sure our audience, do you know that these terms? That's why in next slide, I will explain each of them. It would take some time, but if you're familiar, of course, for you, it would be easier. So in COBIT, there are certain terminologies, and we can use it, adapt it. So focus area, design factors, we can use it during the planning. So there is a design guide special tool in Excel format. We can put answer some questions about critical organization's strategy, what is important for the organization. And then in COBIT, there is a mapping depending on what type of organization, what is important for the organization. Processes could be more important, which IT processes could be more important. So there is a mapping, and we can do it through the design factors. And I will explain it. I will show you, demonstrate later on during this slide. So that can be used during the planning. So you determine where to go. You determine what to audit on the planning stage. By the way, these are terms. So there is enterprise goals, alignment goals, government and management objectives. This is a terminology of COBIT, but for simplicity, we can call it processes. So because these objectives goes to then practices, but those practices can be grouped and we can call it processes. like change management process, access controls, and so on. So by answering some set of questions through the design factors, we come to the prioritized list of controls. So what to audit? We will make our list of things to check, to audit. And another thing to element to further fine-tune that selection is maturity level. I will explain it later as well. So all those objectives here, these governance and management objectives with the practices, they have, by the way, capability levels. Maturity level is overall rating for the whole set of IT processes. Grouped, we can group and all together say the maturity level overall is this, while capability level is for certain objectives. For each objectives have certain number of capability, and that is the way of selecting it. And then when we do audit, see the conformance, that would be way of ranking it. You will see. I will demonstrate. So that is COBIT, and then as I said at the beginning, there is a mapping between controls and other frameworks like ITIL and standards and so on. For our purposes of Kazakhstan, in Kazakhstan, for my company, I also made a further mapping to our local regulatory, legal and regulatory requirements for Kazakhstan country, specific requirements. I did mapping. And so when I do audit, I also show level of conformance to the local regulations. So at the end, we can show our result of the audit. So this is overall picture. In IT audit universe, these are elements and the type of audit which could be, and I show it in the 3 layers, like processes, which is automated on certain business systems, which is hosted on certain infrastructure, servers, and so on. So there could be business processes where we do check general controls. That is one type of audit. There could be specific audit of checking the strategy and the delivery of the projects. Or it could be some specific area on specific system to audit, and so on. So these are just an elements from which we select during the audit. So let me go through again through the terminology. So maybe some of you know this, maybe some of you don't know, first time see it. That's why I need to spend a little bit of time to explain, so we all are in same page. So so-called focus area, it could be like a element of audit universe, like IT processes. It's not so many. There are only several of them, focus areas. Then
Arman,
governance.
we can't see yours. We can't see your slides moving. We can see only the first slide.
Apologize.
Yes.
It looks like
Sorry,
something happened.
yeah.
Yeah, something happened. Maybe I should turn off the camera, and maybe it's related to the. Please, if you see such issue, tell that immediately, so I would react to that. Yeah, because it is critical. So pity. So I'm so sad that you didn't see the rest of the slides. So you didn't see
that's right. If you can show us, if you can show us from the beginning again, it's have to.
Yeah, it's so sad that you didn't see the screen. Please, yeah, tell me if. So first I talk about our chapter, then what ISACA can offer for auditors. So I combined my own slides with slides from ISACA. and then I talk about COBIT in general, and then I was talking this, going through this conceptual view of using COBIT during the audit. And I hopefully this slide pack is available for the everyone who connected here, so you can look at it on your own offline. And these are elements of IT Audit Universe. So, and then I stopped here on the slide pack, on the terminology. So the main terminology is the governance and management objectives, but I would prefer call them processes. It has a component that called process, and it could be as a criteria for assessing during the audit. And I will show you examples of those criteria. So, and then another important terminology is design factors. There is a tool, COBIT 2019 Design Toolkit. It's Excel file. Let me quickly jump to that Excel file and show you how it looked like. I think I better if I will share whole screen. So when I will be jumping through the files, you will also see that. So now everyone, you can see the Excel file, right?
Yes, we can see the Excel
and it
file.
has, yeah, it has importance from 1 to 5. 5 is most important. And those are, of course, it's all explained in the COBIT publications. It has several books. There is a publication about design factor, about using it. But I will shortly tell you. So these worksheets, DF means design factor. There are 11 of them. So those are like selection criteria. Yeah, selection criteria. So you answer on questions. You do ranking of the importance of certain enterprise goals, what is important for the business, and then then you do the risk assessment in general, which risks are mostly applicable to your organization, and what would be impact likelihood. So you go through all those question and answer, like questions, these parameters. There are formulas built into this Excel file which work like this. So on the left, we can see these processes. I call them processes. These are control, governance and management objectives. And it does this Excel file with the formula inside of it. Do the rating. It shows which of them most important. So depending on what is the strategy of the company, is it growing? It is new company growing, or it is already established government company like where I'm working, and the stability cost, for example, is more important than others, or regulative requirements are more important for them. So depending on these answers, what is important for the business, COBIT can answer which processes should be developed further, improved further, which gives us auditors to make a selection of the processes to do audit. So this is kind of tool for selecting area to audit. I hope that is clear for everyone. So that is about design factors. We answer on questions. Depending on what is important for the business, we get answer what is important for the IT. And then there is a capability level. Capability level for each of the control objectives practices in it. And that could be, there is a two way of using it. From one side, during planning, we can select based on capability level. And then when we do the audit and we give ranking, we can use it as a criteria to give that ranking. Maturity level is overall. So capability level is for each of the process, each of the activity inside of the process. Maturity level is overall, group on a group level. Goal cascade, I think it should be near to design factors. It is part of that design toolkit. Goal cascade helps, that is which is built, invented by ISACA, built into that tool, to that Excel file, which enables those, when you select what is important for the business, then you get the most important IT processes. So hopefully now it is clear for everyone. Further, I'm showing you some of the slide pack from the ISACA. So as you can see, what is important for the business, for stakeholders, it goes to enterprise goals, alignment goals, and then finally, these governance management objectives, those are, I call it IT processes. So this, on the right side, this picture, I speak through it with my own words. I try to simplify and explain to you. So this is, understand the business and then select your scope of your audit, refine it, and then you do the testing of the controls and then give the ranking. Can you confirm what is the level of the processes? And here in these slides, I have been showing this. I already talked about through quickly. Here I stop by on some of the key items. So when you select these importance, this kind of graph changing. So importance of the processes are changing depending on answers, depending on importance for the business. Is the business growing? Is the innovation is important for the business, or cost management is important for the business? Depending on that, the level of the processes would be changing. That was first design factor, but there are 11 design factors. Here I'm showing only some 2 or 3 of them. So some goals, enterprise goals, and then risks. So depending on your answers, as I said, that set of processes will be keep changing. At the end, you will get that ranking. And here on the middle, I'm showing you the example. So target level of the process, let's say it is 3. So it's it starts from 2. For 1, there is nothing written in COBIT. It starts from 2. Second level, capability level, third or 4, sometimes 5. So higher the number, the process more mature. You need to do a lot of efforts, more efforts required if this number is higher. So that's why once we get these numbers, we look at it, sort it, or filter it by these numbers, look to that process. We can select these activities in order to assess that process. So can we see what is written here in that organization where we're going to do audit? So if its ranking is 3, we select 2 and 3. Let me show you. Please tell me, do you still see the screen? You still see the screen, right? It's fine, it's okay. It's not frozen. hopefully.
Yes, we can see it's moving.
Okay, good, great. So, so in the COBIT, you can find out this text is also available in Excel format. Why I asked it, can you see it? Because I was going to open. No. I'm sorry, it's different file. It is the same file that I opened it. That text, which is shown in this slide, it's not only in a PDF format of the book that you download from ISACA website. With your ISACA membership, you can download it, the introduction. I think the control objectives also available. But for some certain additional publications from ISACA, they are available for purchasing. But the main key ones, it's available for normal ISACA membership. So if you have membership, you can access it. So this text is available in Excel format as well. So if you want to create your own control procedure, your checklist, so you create checklist with this. So at the beginning, you answered on questions, determined what is important for the business. Then you see these numbers. Which higher the number is, more important that process is. You can, at least I determine it like that. Then I select them, put it in my control procedure, and then I go and do audit. I check, do they have what is written here? So these are international best practices. As I said at the very beginning, in some companies, IT director telling me, we don't use COBIT, we don't know that. I say, don't worry, we do have mapping of this with ITIL, with other frameworks. And for local Kazakhstan regulations, I did myself those mappings. So when I do this, check this assessment criteria, I have mapping, so I can say, well, with my evaluation of these controls, with that mapping, I can also say, as per ITIL process or other standards, is it the same? So there is a mapping. So in shortly, the most core of my whole presentation is this in this slide. You do this selection, you look at this capability level, and use capability level as a selection criteria, selecting the controls. These activities can be considered as a controls. But then later you will also, of course, you can use it as to show the result. Say that process is on capability level 2 only, because I can confirm only this first line. Or if I can confirm all of them, I can say rank that process on capability level 3, because all of them are they are performing it. So at the beginning, during planning, I use it to select. At the end, I also use it to show the level of process, where that process is. Did they achieve such capability level or not? So next slides are explanatory, so explaining. So maturity level is overall, as I said at the beginning. It's just you at the end for whole your audit, you say all IT processes are on maturity level certain. It's a little bit confusing because these levels look similar. 5 levels on maturity level, and then 5 level on capability level. But in fact, they are different. As I said, maturity level is overall for all set of processes. Capability level on individual level of processes. And in COBIT, there is a definition of how to rank the level of efficiency, level of execution. So you can say it's fully confirmed or confirmed to 85%, largely confirmed, half of them 50%, and so on. So I put these things on my template of the audit report, and I show that as well. So here I'm showing on this slide the definition of these levels. As I said earlier, higher the level, more efforts is required. It would be cost for implementing all of those controls. So 5 doesn't mean that it's great. It means that the company spent so many efforts and so many cost to implement and improve that process. By the way, 5 not always in COBIT, not everything is on level 5, because 5 is optimized, it's automated. Mostly it is 3 and 4. We can see the levels in the processes. So in COBIT, we have 40 management and control objectives. It's this slide pack, as we know them, like EDM 02, ensured benefits delivery. I pick it as example, and then dive to details. So 40 objectives, or I call it processes, which consists of 231 practices, or I call it controls. And then each practices, they have these capability levels. And overall 1,202 activities. Of course, you don't do audit with all those 1,202 activities. Of course, you do selection, as I explained from the beginning. You do selection, risk-based, and what is important for the business. So for certain capability level, as you can see, this is part of the COBIT, this definition of those activities. And this definition can be used as an assessment criteria. I think this slide is also most important slide in this presentation, where from overall view of COBIT core, we dive into activity level, activity. So then I'm showing you example of how to present the outcome of the audit. So this is the area of this governance objective. This is the practice and then activities. Then we have these capability levels. And then let's say we did assessment and our result would be certain. Some of them on level 2, let's say it's fully confirmed. On level 3, some of them confirmed. Level 4, not assessed, because as in this example, when we answer those design factors, through the design factors, we determine that for this process, capability level 3 is enough. So we don't assess the rest of the activities. Based on this, we overall give this 85% rating, that they achieve this level of capability on this process. Of course, this is based on what written in COBIT, but of course I a little bit adapted for our realities in my company. So I'm a little bit adapting it. And then overall, we can show it like this. So we can show the actual level of capability level, target capability level is when we did these design factors, and like I showed in the beginning, we see which processes are most important, on which level they should be. Maximum level, it's as designed in COBIT. As I said at the beginning, not all processes are on 5. In some cases, it's 3 or 4. So we can show the maximum capability level as it written in the COBIT, target level, and then actual level in certain organization. We can show that in three layers. And of course, I'm adding my own comments on positive sides, what is great, and what is needs improvement, weakness area. I add my own comments when presenting the result of the audit. This view actually a bit confused. It requires some explanation. Not always everyone understands. But still, but from other side, but it is based on this COBIT methodology, based on international best practices. Sometimes, as per request of the management, I simplify this view. I show them the actual levels and I show them to the management. I simplify it and I show only this percentage. So I show that list of processes and the level of achieved this in percentage. That is more understandable for some management as per their request. But in my working papers, I have such details if anyone need it. And then going further, so yeah, but like this, first and second column. So in some cases, as per request of the management, I'm showing first column and second column, processes and the level of execution, level of achieved, which level they achieved in which in percentage. On the right side, it's details. As I said, these are capability levels. Some may not be assessed or not applicable at all. So that's all, and I think I'm almost. We still have time, and these are resources that I have been using when I prepare this slide pack. You can read those original of these resources on your own. Now we can move to the question and answers. If you have questions, let's go to your questions. There was no questions. Just at the beginning, the issue of the not showing the slides. Any other questions?
Yes, Arman. Since there are no questions, anyone, if you want to ask any questions, you can type in the QA window. Any questions from you? Will a person type in, Arman, what are the controls we can use for auditing from the COBIT in 2019?
Well, you know, as I said, there are 1,202 activities, which activities is the terminology of COBIT. I call them controls.
Okay.
So behind there are 40 process control objectives. So you are saying what else? But it's everything. So what I demonstrate today is, this is a tool. When you go through the questionnaire, through the design factors, going through this importance, when you change these numbers, what is important for the business out of these enterprise goals? So, you know, COBIT has a lot of controls, and during the audit, before the audit, you do preparation, sit down with the business, with the management, go through these questions, answers, and do select, you select those controls.
Right.
And I think
It
that
depends
is the
on the
beauty.
business.
Yeah, because it's tied to business. It's business oriented. But it requires some explanation, because interpretation of these values, not everyone understands this similarly. So for that, I printed out these COBIT books with me. I take it with me and I explain them when I sit down with the management, and when we do this selection of the importance, I'm explaining them how ISACA put it in COBIT, what ISACA means by cost leadership, for example. But of course, this one is simple. Mostly the management is, and by the way, management trying to select as many as possible, and I am explaining, no. They need to select 3, not more, 3, 4, maximum 5 of them as most important, because comparing, even if all of them are important, these goals, business, the management need to select most important of them out of them, comparing each other. And that is that only business can tell that, because that is only management can say that which of them are most important. So this is a tool to select out of 1,202 controls. So you cannot test all of them at once. You need 1 year to test all of them, and the IT cannot implement all of those controls. It's not possible. So need to select, select based on, of course, what is important for the business. I was showing, I hope I was demonstrating my screen, because sometimes maybe I forget to turn on this sharing the screen.
We saw the screen, Arman. There's
Yeah.
a question.
Yep.
Shall I read that? For an organization which is ISO 27001 certified, how can we achieve compliance to COBIT? Can we also be certified as COBIT compliant from an independent party?
No, I cannot answer that question. What I mean that ISACA has, there is a mapping tables. So if someone already certified, let's say, so we come to the organization, they say, here is our certification. They got that certification. So the controls already implemented. And there is a mapping of COBIT controls with ISO 2001. So there is a mapping table. Right now, I need to look for it, but I cannot show right immediately for you. But there is such mapping table. So in order to answer that question, need to find out that mapping table, look at that mapping table. So, and then you can use that certification as a conformance. No need to check again, because it's already verified. They have certification, and we can already in our checklist based on COBIT, if we are using IT auditor using COBIT, you can already mark that 100%. It's already achieved based on this ISO certification.
Yes,
So it's not
basic.
automatically.
Yes,
Yeah.
it's basically two frameworks. So you can be either certified from ISO or COBIT.
Yes, yes. However, there is a mapping tables. And if your audit based on COBIT, but you still can demonstrate conformance based on ISO certification. I hope I was able to explain.
Yes. For his second question, do we have to be certified for both? I don't think so. If one is, if you are certified as ISO 27001, does a company has to be certified again for COBIT? I don't think it's necessary, isn't it?
Yeah. No. It's different thing. ISO 2001 certification, it's given for organization confirming that organization implemented information security processes. That one. By the way, certification also can be, I have such ISO lead auditor certification. I passed the exam for ISO certification. As an individual, I passed the exam of auditor. So I can do also auditing with this standard. That one. For COBIT, the organization does not go through the certification like ISO to this certification. No. Individual pass the exam for the COBIT and confirm that that individual, certain person, IT auditor, shows that that person passed that exam. Yeah, there is no professional certification like CISA. CISA, Certified Information System Auditor. It's professional certification. For COBIT 2019, you can pass the training and the pass exam, and based on exam, you can get a certificate, the paper showing that you know that COBIT.
So based on his knowledge, his or her knowledge, he or she can implement COBIT within the organization.
Yeah. So that is the difference. With ISO certification, organization can confirm their processes comply with that standard. Yeah. COBIT is for individuals showing they have knowledge, they passed the exam. Yeah. But another thing, important thing, COBIT is much more broader. So ISO 20001 certification is just about information security processes, the system as a system implemented. It's only information security, while COBIT is also IT. It goes beyond IT even. So it's overall framework, COBIT. Yeah.
There is one more question. Some markets know COBIT better over the other. Hence, the reason to look for both certifications. So in such case, can we get the COBIT certified for an organization?
No. For organization, we cannot. No.
No, it's not a certification actually. That's what you're saying, right? It's not a certification. So what is the difference between yes, you can continue, sir.
Yeah, actually, I already answered that question.
Yes. No, the second question.
COBIT is overall framework.
It's a framework. You can follow the framework, and based on the framework, you can implement the controls within your company. For COVID-19, it's like that. It's a framework. The next, there's no accreditation body that can award COBIT 2019 certification to organization. COBIT 2019 certificate is for personal accreditation.
Yeah, that is a comment.
That's a comment. Yes, not a question. Yes. Any more questions?
And I hope at least one person after this presentation will go look more dive into detail.
Yes.
And start using it at least partially. I will be happy
Yes.
if at least one person will use it. Because I get it very useful and I'm using it on my own work.
All
That's why
right,
I'm sharing
okay.
it.
Yes, that's what. Should look into it more. Okay, then since there are no more any questions, we end this today's session. On behalf of ISACA Sri Lankan chapter, we would like to thank Arman Omanlu for accepting the invitation to do the session for us, for our members. It was very informative session. Thank you all of you for joining us today's webinar. Have a pleasant evening. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.